If you stay until the very end, I'm going to give you a bonus tip to help increase your conversion rates of paid clients that come directly from your social media content. So you're going to want to watch this all the way through. Let's do some messaging audits. If you're growing your online coaching business using social media, creating the profile and publishing content is step one of the journey. But I asked a few of my Instagram subscribers if they'd be okay with me doing a messaging audit, evaluating not just their account itself, but evaluating the messaging, their program promise, and the actual flow that they're using to take their social media followers to convert them into paid coaching clients. And quite a few of them said yes. So I'm really excited to be giving these audits, reviewing their messaging, giving them some pointers, and also teaching this in a way where you'll be able to take away from this as well. I have 3 individuals who I'm going to be auditing their messaging for today. They're all in the career coaching sector. So if you are a career coach, definitely tune into this. And even if you're not a career coach, you'll still be able to get some valuable gems that you can apply to your coaching niche and within your coaching industry. So let's get into these audits. Every one of these career coaches is following a similar sales funnel process. They create content. That content is supposed to lead people to click the link in their bio. The link in that bio directs people to book a call on their calendar. And that call that gets booked is typically a discovery call, a next step call that may or may not have an application page attached to it. And from there, they will facilitate that prospect into helping them make the next best step decision and hopefully becoming a coaching client of theirs. So the context of that sale process is really important. And I'm going to reference this as we're going through and doing the messaging audits. Let's get into the first audit. We have Eugene. And again, he's one of my IG subscribers and he is looking to enroll his first paid coaching client. Some context on Eugene's situation. He primarily uses LinkedIn for content creation and he also has Instagram. The price of his program is just under $2,500. It's a 12-week coaching program. Eugene is also working full-time. He has a job and he's building his coaching business on the side. He has probably about 10 hours a week that he can dedicate to messaging and marketing. And his ideal client is software developers who want to grow. So when we initially look at Eugene's situation, first thing that I want to do is come to where he says his home base is, which is LinkedIn. And high level, I can tell that he's a career coach. He is a guy that works in tech. He helps developers build their legacy. So one of the very first things from a messaging standpoint is where can we get more specific? So I think that you can niche down based off of 2 different ways, niching based off your audience or niching based off the vehicle that you teach your clients that helps them get the result that they're looking for. In a great case scenario, you're niche down on both. And I think career coaches in particular have an opportunity to niche down in both categories. Niching down on the audience, which I know that he's focused on software developers, which I think that is a niche audience in and of itself. He might be able to get more specific, maybe based off of demographic data, but he might not have to go any further. But niching based off of the outcome, the vehicle, and what it really is the program promise. And just high level looking at Eugene's content, looking at his messaging, I think that's probably one of the very first areas where he can make some immediate improvements is actually clarifying what the promise of his program is. What is the promise of his career coaching? Because just saying, I help developers build their legacy, that's very subjective. It's really intangible. It's more of an aspirational goal rather than a tangible outcome. And let's look at Eugene's Instagram because I know he's also over there as well. He says that I help software developers land their next job. I think that he's a bit more specific in this arena, saying I help you land their next job. That's getting me closer to what the actual outcome is, but I think that he can go another layer deeper, especially because I can already tell he's creating content, he's using video. Let's take a quick look at
live today, and I talked about tailoring your skill set and keeping your skill set up to date.
Okay, so I see that that's like a reel. Let me see here. I'm guessing this is a live that he was referencing.
I'm going live today on everywhere and including all of my platforms, but I always go live first.
Okay, so we'll give some feedback here on the actual delivery of messaging within this, but I see that he's willing to show up on camera, he's willing to show his face, he's willing to share his perspective. The first thing that I would have Eugene do from a messaging standpoint is drill down on the promise. So when you say I help software developers land their next job, there's 2 different things I want you to think about. What is the specific moment in time this software developer is at? So when we say land your next job, is that their very first role in software development? Is it maybe they've had 2 or 3 years of experience and maybe they're going from junior developer to senior developer? But one thing that I thought was interesting about Eugene's experience is when you actually go back and look at what are the skill sets that he has, where has he worked before? And when we look at this, let me show up all 9 experiences. He's been a software developer and an engineer since 2016, okay? He has receipts. But one thing I think is really interesting is that he's worked for Alaska Airlines. He has worked for T-Mobile, Nordstrom, CareRev. And I looked up some of these companies, and Eugene, this might be something that you can consider, but when you're niching down in career coaching, when we think about what is that specific moment in time that we're helping somebody get their next job or get a promotion or land their next career, is you've worked for multiple Fortune 500 companies. You've worked for Nordstrom, T-Mobile, Alaska Airlines. These are all major, large institutions. So where I think Eugene could get more specific with his program promise is actually making a decision to say, I help developers land a 6-figure contract role with a Fortune 500 company. I want to get more specific on what is the job. Is it a full-time role? Is it a salaried position? Is it a freelance position? Is it a contract position? How big is that contract? And what is that transitionary period that your client is experiencing that's relevant to the experiences that you've already had? So high level, when we think about messaging for Eugene, one of the first things, again, I would recommend here is clarify the actual promise, because right now it's unclear as to what the outcome is. Your Instagram profile speaks to it a little bit more. Your LinkedIn does not at all. And I know you said that LinkedIn for him in particular was his main hub. So that's like the first thing that I would clarify. Define what is that moment in time? What does it mean to build the legacy? What does it mean to land that next job position? Where can we get specific for that person in their career so we can clarify what is the next job for them? Again, is it freelance, contract, full-time, salary, how big? And just base this off of what you've personally done. That's what I would recommend. We can speak to some more specific nuances as well within that promise. From there, once you define that program promise, and especially as you start to niche down and specialize, you can bring in that layer of specificity into your marketing content. And that's where, again, I see a huge opportunity for you. I want to give Eugene an applause because the fact that he's even creating video content is step number 1. Being courageous, showing your face, being willing to go on camera, like you're already doing what most people won't do. But 2 pieces of feedback for you when it comes to what content and what messaging you should incorporate. 1, it should speak to the specifics of whatever you choose to niche down around. So let's just say, for example, Eugene decides to say, I help software developers land, I'm just assuming here, okay? I'm making this totally up. Land 6-figure contracts with Fortune 500 companies. Let's just say that was, for example, his promise. Now, when we think about that from a messaging standpoint, let's pop up one of his live streams. So rise above imposter syndrome, unleash your true potential. Now we can get more specific even with this angle of positioning. So let's say, again, he was working with software developers who want to land their first 6-figure contract with a Fortune 500 company. So instead of saying rise above imposter syndrome, we could get more specific. How do software developers overcome imposter syndrome when pitching themselves for contract positions at Fortune 500 companies? The messaging probably of what you're delivering in this live video is still going to be the same, but now we're going to be able to get much more specific on the nuances for that particular person at that specific moment in time. And that's what will help you stand out from other career coaches. Other career coaches who are working with people in tech is you being able to address a niche, nuanced, specific experience that somebody else can't Google. And that's where I think where our messaging can really differentiate ourselves. You're able to do more storytelling because you can lean on your past experiences and be able to be more specific so that when people come to your page or when your content is being shared, they know that you are the person for them because you've been there, you've done that, and your content is speaking to it. So last thing for Eugene in regards to messaging, I want to talk about a little bit of the sales process because he said that he posts on LinkedIn, they book a call, and that's what leads to closing the client. Now, if I'm on LinkedIn and I click this link in the bio, let's see where this is taking us. It's taking us to a waitlist page. And what I would probably recommend, especially since you have not worked with any paid coaching clients as of yet, is I would skip the waitlist page and have the link in this bio go directly to an Acuity scheduling or a Calendly link, like some sort of automated software for people to book an actual call on your calendar versus putting another barrier or another roadblock before they can get to you. And I understand why people do wait lists. It's a way to build your email list. But at this stage, since you're not working with any paid clients and it's a goal of yours to start enrolling paid clients, is remove all barriers. All link in bio should probably go directly to a scheduling link. And let's see if this one here is the same thing. Now, this is interesting. So LinkedIn, it goes to a wait list. If we're on Instagram, it goes to pay in full. And when you are selling a more higher ticket offer, which I think is anything above $2,000, right now you want to support the client with making that decision. You don't want just to send them to a checkout page where they have to facilitate the decision process on their own. So again, for where you're at, because your messaging isn't as as strong as it could be. All link in bios, I think, should go to a sales call. And that sales call experience is also going to help you improve your messaging, because you're going to be able to literally guide the client through the thought process, the decision making, hear their objections, hear what their roadblocks are. And you'll be able to use that call for market research in and of itself, but it'll also allow you to control more of the sales conversation. Versus right now, you're like, go pay me. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't know what's included. I don't know what you offer. I don't know if you're a good fit for me. And because your marketing content is not addressing some of those pre-sales kind of concerns that a prospect would have, you have to compensate for that through actual human conversation. So again, what I'd recommend here is update all link in bios, have them go directly to your call booking page, and let's just test this out, where this takes us. Awesome sauce. And this is perfect. So again, I would update the link in bio and go directly to this Calendly account. And let's see how this works. Okay, he has some questions here, which is great. So he can pre-screen the individual and then they can book the call. So that's what I'd recommend for Eugene. Quick recap, clarify that program promise, clearly define what the outcome actually is, make a decision, niche down around what that specific moment in time is your software developer is at, and what is that next role. Define what that next role is and put that into your program promise. Start to incorporate some more of those specifics from that program promise you decide into your actual content. And all link in bios go directly to your call scheduling link so that you can just hop straight on the sales conversation, have a call with them, and then help them decide what their best next step needs to be. Let's get into the second audit. Next up, we have Danelle. She's also a career coach. She works with women in tech who want to level up their career and make more money. Don't we all, right? She has worked with paid clients before, but she doesn't have any currently enrolled right now. She primarily uses LinkedIn. She also uses Instagram. Her coaching programs range between $1,500 and $2,500, and it's a 10-week coaching program, or she offers a VIP day. She's currently working full-time in a job, and she's building her coaching business on the side. So let's get into Danelle's as well. So when we look at Danelle, she helps women in tech level up their career while increasing their income. Very similar feedback to the first audit is we are clear on the niche in regards to audience and vehicle. That's what we want to start to specify. And when I look at Danelle's actual experience, product manager, product manager, product manager, product manager, product owner, project manager. Okay, she has a lot of experience as a product manager. And I'm wondering if Danelle, when she's at Help Women in Tech, if she has over 15 years of experience based off of what I'm seeing here on LinkedIn as a product manager, if she's in the career coaching space, my first question would be, why are you not owning the identity of who you once were inside of the program promise that you're offering today? You know, I think that's a great opportunity for you to niche down within women in tech, is to claim that I work with women who are product managers in tech. I want to show this example because we had a client of ours, Blair Presley, and we've worked with her over the years inside of our coaching program Leverage, and we helped her niche down as well. She also works with early stage product management professionals who are looking to land their first time product management job. And there is a beauty in specificity. There's also a lot of money to be made when you're willing to niche down. And when I look at Danelle's background experience, I see that as a clear opportunity, if that's the direction that she wants to move in, to niche down on her audience beyond women in tech, but getting that to be women in tech who are possibly product managers, but also niching down based off what is the outcome, what is the promise to be delivered, helping them level up in their career while increasing their income. I would love to more specificity. Are we looking to help women in tech, possibly product managers here, level up in their career by landing a new role, transitioning position, getting a promotion, or is it supporting product managers or women in tech once they're already in the role, maybe more with leadership development, skill development to help them succeed after they've landed the position? And as of right now, I'm unclear as to what the outcome actually is. Very similar to the first audit, there's an opportunity here to actually clarify the program promise. Based off of Danelle's experience, I can tell she has the juice, baby, okay? I know that she would know how to support somebody based off the years of experience that she has had, especially senior manager positions. Like, I just think the program promise could be a lot more specific. What is that specific moment in time? What's the relevancy that's related to the Olympian that she's looking to serve in regards to what does it mean to level up in their career and what does it mean to make more money for what type of woman in tech? And I think that there's a huge opportunity for product management just because of how many years of experience she's had. And then also, is it helping product managers go from analyst to manager? Is it helping managers learn how to succeed in their role and lead their teams better? Like, we need to clarify the promise because as of right now, it's really unclear. So that's the first thing I'd recommend for Danelle. The next next thing is actually, let's look at her messaging within her content. And when I look on LinkedIn, let's go to activity, and I am going to go to posts so that we can actually see, is she posting content? Is she not posting content? And let's look at articles. Okay. So it looks like she has a few articles that she's publishing, one a month over the last few months. And then she is doing some posts here and there. And really where I see the opportunity for Danelle is that she's doing a lot of engaging on social, and she looks beautiful. Like her account looks very like cute and polished and curated. And okay, so we see some content happening. What I think is missing from Danelle from a marketing standpoint is your point of view. If I go to your content, I have no idea what you think. What are your beliefs? What is your perspective? You know, especially as it relates to project managers and leveling up in their career and the exact thing that you're saying that you're helping people with. I don't know what your expertise is, because in none of your content are you actually talking about what your expertise is. And I did DM Danelle and ask her kind of what her hiccup was around content. And she said that she doesn't feel like she's good at creating it. I want to be the first one to tell you that I suck at creating content, but I know how to articulate the value. And more importantly, especially when you're dealing with more higher ticket clients who are paying 4 figures for your offers, they care much less about trending audios and whether or not you're on top of the latest reel trends and TikTok trends. They want to know what your opinion is. What is your perspective? And can you articulate to a level of specificity related to the problem that they're experiencing and show them that you know how to solve the issue? And based off of Danelle's experience, I know that she knows how to do that. So what I would recommend for Danelle is to take herself on a challenge. Do a challenge where she's doing like 12 live streams in a month, going live at least 3 days a week. If she wants to like double gold star, I would say go live Monday through Friday for an entire month. And I just want you to get in the habit of articulating your value. Get in the habit of just sharing your opinion. Get in the habit of just being comfortable on camera. It's going to suck at the beginning. You're going to feel super uncomfortable. You're not going to be great at it. But what I've noticed with Danelle's accounts is that she has focused on being polished and appearing put together. I can tell she has some personality. Like even from this little photo shoot reel that she has personality that is not being currently conveyed in her content. Look at that shimmy. Look at that little shoulder. Okay, come on. But as of right now, it's giving, I need to appear perfect. I just want you to come off and just share your opinion. Be comfortable in your skin, share your opinion, show your face. We want to hear your voice. And that was what I would initially recommend for Danelle. So if Danelle's like, oh crap, now I'm being called out, I'm just inviting you into this. I want you to focus less on being perfect and polished and more on sharing your opinion and owning your perspective and vocalizing that. And if she does niche down to product managers or does decide and clarify her program promise around how she helps career professionals increase their income, again, I'll just pick what are 12 to 20 topics that you can touch on that's relevant to product managers as it relates to whatever promise it is that you decide on. And just think through, what are the things that people in your day-to-day job are already asking you? I know that you're a senior manager, I think that you are right now, something along those lines. She has some fancy title. But like, what are your mentees asking you about? What are other managers in your organization already asking you about as it relates to leveling up in their career? Or look back at your past clients. What were the things that they struggled with? What were the mindset hurdles they had to overcome that was preventing them from getting to whatever that next level is as it correlates to what your promise is going to be? And that's what I would recommend here is clarify the program promise, niche down possibly on the audience, and niche down also on what is the outcome. Claim what the outcome is and clarify what your program promise is going to be. And then from there, use the specificity of that to start to anchor what the messaging is within your content and just get comfortable publishing, documenting the journey, sharing your perspective, and give yourself permission to not make perfect content. Because for the audience that you're going after, those trending reels and trending audio, your audience probably doesn't even care about. They care more about your opinion, your experience, your expertise, and what your perspective is on what they need to do to navigate their career, especially as a woman in tech, and especially as a product manager, if that's what you choose to niche down around. So that's what I'd recommend for Danelle. And now let's take a look, because I know Danelle said that she posts content. The goal is to get them to click link in bio, book a call to then close. If we look at Danelle's experience here, her link in bio leads to an opt-in page. And for where you're at right now, because you're currently not working with any paid clients, but your goal is to take on, I think you said 3 to 5 coaching clients a month, I would avoid opt-ins. I would avoid even building your email list right now. And the reason being is because we want to remove the barriers that are keeping our potential prospects from having a conversation with us. So I want to say this, and I want to say this clearly. Conversions happen through conversation, and especially if you're currently having a difficult time enrolling your first few clients, or you're making less than $50,000 a year from your coaching business, just remove all barriers to have a conversation with you. Your link in bio should go directly to booking a call with you, because that's going to be the fastest way to help somebody make a buying decision. I'd probably recommend here just update the link in bio, both for LinkedIn and Instagram, to go directly to this page that she has here. And if we click this, let's see where this takes us, where you can book a 30-minute appointment. This is great. There's availability within the next week. I would avoid having stuff go out too far. So I'd probably only show times on the calendar that are within the next week to max. Part of that is to maintain urgency, help your prospect make a decision quickly. If those times don't work, allow them to reach out to you. But I would just probably stop this after 2 weeks of visibility. And let's see what happens here. So she has some clarifying questions here as it relates to the offer or what it is that she's selling. One thing when it comes to qualifying questions when people are booking a call, you want to be asking questions that help inform how to qualify the lead. And qualify the lead not just based off of whether or not they can pay, but qualify the lead to ensure that what problem you're solving with the promise of your program is actually relevant to the solution that they're looking for, is related to the problem that they actually have. And that's where a lot of people go wrong with creating application pages or questionnaires, is they're only qualifying the lead on based off of high level qualifications. Can you pay or not? Which that is important. Okay. We do need to make sure that we're qualifying leads that can actually afford your offer. But that part of the qualification starts within your content and your promise and your messaging. This is just some feedback for pointers in the future, is making sure that you're asking questions that help the client properly qualify, and for you to help qualify whether or not your program promise can actually solve the problem that they have. So those are my recommendations for Danelle. Clarify your program promise and start to infuse messaging that is aligned with that program promise. And for you in particular, do a challenge to get over this rut of feeling like you cannot create good content. Instead of creating perfect content, I want you to focus on documenting your journey and sharing your perspective. And go live is where I'd recommend, because it's the easiest thing. You're allowed to mess up on a live stream. It doesn't have to be perfect, polished, and all these things. And just get in the habit of owning your opinion, having an opinion, and sharing it publicly. Let's get into this next audit. We have Victoria. She's already actively working with paid clients, and her business is doing incredible. She's making between $100,000 and $300,000 in annual revenue. She's a past client of ours inside of Leverage, so to see her success just brings me so much joy. So she primarily uses LinkedIn as her main platform, and also Instagram. The price of her coaching program is $15,000. It's a 12-month program, if I'm not mistaken. She's full-time in her business, and she's launching a new $3,000 coaching program in the fall. Her ideal client is women in leadership positions playing therapist with her team. Victoria is doing a lot of things right. She's actively publishing content on social, and more importantly, she is consistent. It looks like she's posting maybe 2 to 3 days a week. She's showing her face, she's sharing her opinion, she is active across multiple platforms, and I think she's doing a great job. Now, when it comes to where her goals are, what she's looking to accomplish, she wants to introduce a new offer that helps people at an earlier stage in their leadership journey. And I think one of the first opportunities that Victoria has is making sure that her messaging does not cause confusion, especially for where her moneymaker already is. This happens with a lot of our clients as they continue to grow, especially as they start to surpass that multi-six-figure mark, is you have to now redesign and remold your business model, because what got you to 6 figures was probably a lot of grit and hustle and customization and maybe a lack of standardization, which is super normal. But now that she's introducing a secondary offer, we need to start thinking about the business model more strategically, and more importantly, making sure that the messaging that she incorporates into her overall marketing strategy does not cannibalize where her moneymaker already is, but more importantly, it supports the moneymaker that's already thriving to help increase lifetime value of her existing clients. So when we have clients that typically go down in price point for their offers, the first thing that I would recommend Victoria do is just make sure that the ideal client and the program promise for the new offer that she is selling that directly aligns with the 5-figure offer that she already has. What I mean by that is every great program solves one problem and creates a new one. No one program is going to solve all of your clients' problems. It's like what our prophet Biggie Smalls taught us. Your client has 99 problems. Your program's job is to solve one of them. So if we look at where Victoria is at right now with the new offer that she's trying to introduce, we want to make sure that the program promise of that offer, once it is achieved, is in alignment with what qualifies a lead to enroll into her $15,000 offer. That way, the messaging that she puts out in her marketing can be congruent from offer to offer and ensure that she's not building an entirely different audience at a lower level of sophistication, which can cause a divide in what has already been successful for her. So that's what I would tell Victoria to keep in mind as she's introducing this new offer. The next thing is to really clarify the program promise of that offer. And one thing that Victoria mentioned when she was submitting herself for this opportunity was that it takes her prospects about 8 to 12 months to make a buying decision. I think that she has an opportunity to shorten that sales cycle by actually niching down. So we mentioned that Victoria helps women in leadership positions playing therapists with her team. And she told me that some of her clients are business owners, some of her clients are managers working at other companies. But if we also look at Victoria's past experience, and the reason why I love to lean on past experience is because a lot of your clients today associate you based off of what you've done before. And Victoria used to run a creative event agency for over 8 years. My question for Victoria would be, where can she niche down based off of one, either the client data that she already has, the types of clients that she's naturally attracting, or two, based off of what her past experience is. So I'm curious to know, are the women that she works with, are these women in leadership positions managing their own agencies? Are these women in leadership positions that are managers in other creative agencies? Or are these women in leadership positions in a particular industry? I would start, because she has so much experience working with paid clients, I would recommend that Victoria do an audit on her clients and who is she naturally attracting already, and how can she start to claim or own some more niche, nuanced aspect of leadership training for women-led teams into her program promise and into her messaging and into her positioning within her marketing content. Because I think that will help shorten her sales cycle, because she can create more content that's directly aligned with that layer of specificity, which can make it easier for somebody who's scrolling her on Instagram or reading her bio or discovering her on LinkedIn to know, like, wait a minute, yeah, I need help with leadership, but Victoria can specifically help me with the exact problem that I have, because she's working with, let's just say, for example, women in leadership who are managing teams of self-employed agency owners, like whatever it might be. But where can you niche down maybe one more layer, either on the vehicle or on the audience, to make it easier for somebody who doesn't know who you are to know that you're for them? So that's what I would recommend for Victoria as well. And then also from Victoria's sales process, she says that she has people just click the link in her bio, book a call, and go from there. So let's click the link in the bio and let's see where this takes us. So it looks like we have an impact call, a speaker call, and a virtual coffee chat. So I would probably simplify this and make the decision. Are you trying to land speaking engagements or coaching clients? And if I was thinking about my first link in bio, just depending on where we're at right now, I'd probably just give one option, because people don't read. Unfortunately, and again, like I mentioned earlier, conversions happen through conversation. Just how can we make a straight shoot? How can we give it a straight shot to remove any barriers for people if they're trying to do that? So if the goal right now is to book coaching clients, I'd probably just take us straight to this impact alignment call and have this link go directly here. Or, well, I think the contact page here is actually okay, but maybe just how can we make this more prominent? So maybe instead, if you want to keep all this stuff on here, is there a way that we can make just this part here like more bold and more prominent? And then maybe there's a break in the page and then it's like looking for something else, and then we can have these things underneath. But how can we make this a bit more bold and more impactful so it's very clear this is what you need to do if you're in this position? And I think her scheduling link is set up beautifully. Let's see here. Let's just go to a time. And she already has pre-qualifying questions that are already in play that she can book the event. That's great. And let's see here for Instagram, this takes us directly to her website and learn more about our solutions. Right now, if I was somebody who didn't know what I needed, the biggest thing too, when you're thinking about from a prospect's perspective, you're the expert. And if you're the expert on my niche, my industry, my particular problem at the specific moment in time that I am at, help guide me to what my solution needs to be. So that this is a team support group, a leadership training. Like, I may not know what I need. I may not know if I need leadership training or if I need team support. And if I go to her services guide, let's scroll down and let's see what's on here. Okay, that's one offer, self-paced. Like this is a lot of options. And also it's like really big. I can't even resize it. Like, this is actually kind of hard to read, and there's a lot of options for me to choose from. So I would just look at how can we simplify this? Like, these offers, you might be able to help a client make that decision once they're already on the call versus presenting all of these options to them out of the gate. Because you have so much experience working with paid clients, audit what people typically pay for. And I'd probably only have the top one or the top two most profitable offers that you've sold publicly listed. And that's something that I think a lot of us can learn from this audit with Victoria is that just because you sell multiple things does not mean that you need to actively market all of them publicly. There are offers that you need to be marketing publicly versus things that you can be marketing and selling privately on the back end, behind closed doors, after somebody's already made their initial buying decision with you. And this is where it's really important for you to know your data and to study your customer journey, because a lot of us, we start growing our businesses, we want to create more offers because we start getting bored. And then what ends up happening is we unintentionally cause confusion to our audience, which is what I want Victoria to avoid doing because she's already doing such a great job. So that wraps up our very first messaging audit. If you enjoyed this, got a nugget out of this, please comment below and subscribe. In the comments, let me know what is one takeaway that you can incorporate into your messaging, into your sales strategy to help you boost your results. Let's do a quick recap. One thing that you can always do to improve your messaging is clarify your program promise. Having a clear program promise and niching down based off of a specific moment in time for a specific audience, solving a relevant problem that that individual has, makes your marketing content so much easier and a lot more potent and effective. The second thing is you have to show your face and share your opinion. When you are selling higher ticket offers, dealing with more sophisticated buyers, the trending audio and the TikTok trends are much less effective. And what your audience and your prospects care much more about is your opinion and your perspective. So you have to be willing to show your face and share it. Help them know what your thoughts are, what your beliefs are, how you think, how your experience can lend to solving the specific problem that they have, because you have been there and you have done that. So you want to showcase that. It's less about creating perfect content, because you're not a content creator. You're a coach that just needs to create content as a way to attract, qualify, and convert leads. And there is a distinction. So your job is not to be on top of all the trends. Your job is to have an opinion and share your perspective and help guide the client into making a buying decision. The last thing is remove the barrier for your prospect to have a conversation with you. Again, when you're selling a higher ticket offer to a more affluent buyer, the conversions are going to happen through the conversations. So remove all barriers for them to actually book a call with you, especially if you're making less than $50,000 a year. This is not necessarily the time to focus on building a large audience. I would much rather you focus on a minimum viable audience and make it super easy for them to have conversations with you, to get on your calendar, and for you to be able to guide that sales conversation to help inform what their best next step needs to be. Time for the bonus tip. One thing that all of these individuals could be doing better, and you can be doing too, is make sure that you put call to actions inside of the captions of your social media posts. I think a lot of the time we get so caught up in creating perfect content, hopefully writing decent captions, that we forget to actually incorporate CTAs, call to actions. And the easiest and the most successful way I have been able to get people from watching my content to actually getting them to click the link in the bio to actually book a call with me is by telling them to do it on a repeated basis. So when you are writing the caption underneath a reel, a carousel post, or even a live stream, one of the paragraphs of your caption, either at the very top or at the very bottom, should say something like, if you are, whoever your Olympian is, looking to solve whatever the promise is of your program, click the link in my bio to book a call with me, or click the link in my bio to go through a discovery process to determine what your best next step needs to be. You want to write call to actions inside of your content. You want to reference it while you're talking, especially if it's a live stream, to remind people to take the next step action. So don't forget to do that. Hold your prospect's hand throughout the entire sales journey, and part of that hand holding is reminding them what their next step needs to be after they consume some incredibly valuable content from you. If you need help clarifying your program promise, I've got you covered. I put together a 3-hour workshop that walks you through the process of actually how to define, clarify, and articulate what your program promise is. Your program promise is the nucleus of your offer, and all of your marketing content is going to stem from whatever your program promise is. That program promise influences the messaging that you create. If you want the access to the replay of that live workshop training, there's a link in the description that will take you directly there. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope that you enjoyed this messaging audit. If you want to see me do more of this, leave it as a comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video.